Whether it's good food, historic sites, or some great people, small town South Carolina's got it all. Last year we showed you some of the best places in the Midlands, and now we're seeing what else the Palmetto State has to offer. We're starting here in Abbeville, home of our very own Maya Payton, and we're going to check out what all it has to offer.
It's awesome. I have 3 children, so small town life, we know everybody. They can't get away with anything. But I also know I can let my kids come out and they're safe.
For me, as the community,
Yes.
it's the atmosphere, it's the people. And to top it off with that, I mean, like, we have the most charming downtown in South Carolina.
Sitting west of Columbia and south of Greenville, the historic district in downtown Abbeville features new restaurants and old buildings.
Two Brews is a restaurant down the street from us. They always have amazing tacos and donuts,
as well as restored remnants of the past.
One of the biggest hidden gems, it's the Abbeville Opera House.
Yes.
It is a 300-seat venue on the historic register.
I toured the Opera House with Maya, and she also showed me some of her favorite shops in town.
There are a lot of places where you can get one-of-a-kind type outfits.
We also got a history lesson at the Trinity Episcopal Church and walked by the place that inspired Maya to get into journalism, the Press and Banner.
I grew up just always reading it and also talking to a lot of the writers, journalists, and it got me inspired.
But this weekend in Abbeville, the city square turns into the 41st annual Spring Festival, featuring local vendors, food, and music.
And I grew up walking here to the Spring Festival. I mean, high school, middle school, this was the time of the year where everyone, is kind of getting tired of school and you want to get out. It's not really summer yet, but we're getting into the groove. This was this place to come and just have fun and celebrate.
Our tagline for Abbeville is pretty near perfect.
Yeah.
We run at a different pace, and we think that's what makes Abbeville special.
So if you're free this weekend, come on out to the Abbeville Spring Festival. You might find that you fall in love with this small town of 5,000 people. But not too fast. We still have 14 stops this summer. On the road in Abbeville, Alex Tata, ABC Columbia News.
Chester is becoming a place that really is stuff to do and places to go.
But the county seat of around 5,600 people still has a small town feel.
It's right between Charlotte and Columbia, so it's real, and even near Spartanburg. So it's a really good central place to be. It's still a fairly small town. A lot of people still know each other, and your granddaddy if they ask you.
And just outside of the city limits sits Chester State Park.
Got a really nice bridge that's been built across the lake out there. It's a beautiful place. Playgrounds for the kids.
Chester State Park is a lovely weekend getaway for anyone in South Carolina. However, this weekend in the city on the hill, it's all about one thing: barbecue.
The Hog on the Hill's been going on now for around 20 years. If you like pulled pork barbecue, this is it. And this is one of the few events where you actually, the teams are actually serving you. So you actually get a chance to talk to the cook teams. These guys have been doing this for years, and maybe they'll give you a tip, maybe they won't, if you like to do barbecue at home.
One of this weekend's competitors is local man Ray Dotson.
I started my first competition in 2020. I just enjoyed doing it. I've done a lot of backyard barbecuing. I do a little bit of catering and stuff, and family and friends like, hey, you may want to, your barbecue's good, let's try the next step. So it's a hobby. Like everybody else got the other hobbies, it's just barbecuing is just a hobby for all of us.
And when you get to Chester, if you can't find the event, just simply follow your nose and it'll take you to Hog on the Hill right off of Main Street.
It's pretty much, we're a mustard-based state. We love mustard-based sauce. That's pretty much what we like. And also, as the saying goes, good barbecue don't need sauce also.
And if you want good barbecue on any weekend of the year, the locals here tell me that Buttermilk's is the place to go. On the road in Chester, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.
There are not many places like this on earth.
There's not a bad time to visit Hartsville.
Hartsville, born and raised here, never intended to come back and spend the rest of my life, but that's just how it happened, and I've never regretted it.
While the population has stayed the same since the 70s, Hartsville's mayor and other city leaders say that the downtown has seen a lot of growth over the years.
We don't want to be a big city. Hartsville is a small town with a big heart, and that's always going to continue to be true. Like I said, we find ways to repurpose these buildings, streets, the parklets, things like that. We can grow without growing our borders. We grow through community involvement, through volunteer and activism, and through just support of each other.
But while the largest city in Darlington only is home to less than 8,000 residents, many more pass through the town due to the city's large employers, such as Sunoco.
There's about 40,000 people that come through here every day. They actually use Hartsville, shop in Hartsville, eat in Hartsville. So that amount of economic activity and those numbers are what allow us to support the businesses that we have.
The downtown is now full of places to eat, drink, and shop. Many of the businesses are local and one of a kind.
I think it's very indicative of how strong our economy is and how much people still gravitate to downtown and how much they value their downtown and invest in it.
While all the storefronts downtown are filled with businesses, there are changes coming to Hartsville. In the future, there are revitalization plans for the Center Theater.
We have so many cultural assets as well. We have a fantastic museum here that's open every day of the week except for Sundays and certain Saturdays.
In addition to the museum and businesses, Coker University, which enrolls around 1,200 students, also adds to Hartsville's atmosphere.
Being a college town brings a different vibe. It brings some vitality and excitement.
More excitement came to town when Wild Heart Brewing opened a few years ago. Hartsville's mayor is the co-founder, along with his friend and brewer, Zach Reiner.
I just knew that Hartsville was ready for a brewery and felt like the community would really embrace us, and it turns out we were right. It's been great. Hartsville's been very good to us.
And if you come to Wild Heart Brewing, you can try some of those delicious beers that Zach brews. Some of the popular ones are a blueberry blonde, a pub ale, a hazy IPA, and a fruited sour called Southern Weather and Always Changes.
When you try to explain the charm and the magic and the hospitality, you almost end up going, well, it's Hartsville.
And it's not just the downtown that makes Hartsville great. There are other places that you'll want to visit, such as the Kalmia Gardens, where I'm at right now, or nearby Prestwood Lake. But I'll save the outdoor fun for another week. For now, on the road in Hartsville, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. Surrounded by the Manchester State Forest and next to the Palmetto Trail sits a road less traveled that leads to one of the Midland's hidden gems.
Poinsett's one of the first parks to open in South Carolina. It was part of the CCC Civilian Conservation Corps with FDR's New Deal.
For any nature lover like me, there's no better way to spend Memorial Day weekend than out at a state park. I forgot to bring my hiking shoes today, but I did remember my $3 admission, so let's check out what this state park in Sumter County has to offer.
Poinsett's called the Mountains of the Sandhills, so we have difference in elevation here, so you're not just flat lands, you have cypress swamps, mountainous hills. We have cabins out here, camping, and we have about 25 miles of hiking and biking trails.
One of my favorite things to do when I'm at a state park is go out in the water. So I got a kayak and we're gonna go out on the lake.
So it is a very unique place with flora and fauna. We have a huge variety of trees here. One of the most unique things to me, which you can actually see in our parking lot, is the mountain laurel trees with Spanish moss on them.
The plants at Poinsett come from all corners of the state. The park is also a good place for bird watching.
We've had little blue herons here on the lake, bald eagles flying over. We have yellow-billed cuckoos, orchard orioles. There's easily 100+ species of birds you can see here at this park.
Grant has worked at multiple parks in South Carolina and enjoys having an office outdoors.
What makes them special to me is just taking a certain plot of land and just leaving it natural. So this will never be developed or turned into anything else. This is how it would look without any sort of development, any sort of change, and it just gives a place for wildlife and plants to thrive. And us people, no matter where we live, to come out and see that and enjoy it.
And if you don't live near Poinsett State Park, good news. There are 46 others in the state and 5 new state parks coming in the near future. So get yourself a park passport now and come explore the natural beauty of the Palmetto State. On the road at Poinsett State Park, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. Going out on the road every Friday, I find myself really thirsty and tired from time to time. Luckily, there's a place in Gilbert, South Carolina that helps with both of those.
So we do mainly energy teas and meal replacement shakes. They taste like healthy milkshakes. We do have our iced coffees as well. We're trying to make all of the communities that we're in healthier. That's kind of our goal. We help people lose weight, gain weight, maintain, just live a healthier lifestyle.
Kiefer Avery has opened businesses for many years and in multiple states. The 5'4" was first born when he drove through Gilbert and saw an empty building downtown.
The next day I was coming to show my wife kind of what was out here. And there was a for lease sign, so we called immediately, come look at the space. It used to be a wood shop, and well, it's actually been a lot of things. Apparently this building predates the road.
Not only is the 5'4" a place for great drinks, it's also a cool community hangout.
And on Saturdays we do our workout classes. Every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. We've been slowly trying to grow that. We've hosted some birthday parties.
Since opening in September, the 5-4 has become popular among locals.
I love it, and all the artwork is like one of my favorites. I'm just excited about this being here in Gilbert, and I hope more businesses will open up.
I tried the Tiki Island drink from the secret menu, which I've heard has 3 other great teas as well.
The Blue Lagoon, maybe? It's their new, I think, like summer drink, and you just want to sit and drink this on the beach, really. But, this will do for now.
Less than 600 people call Gilbert home, but everyone who knows the small town speaks highly of it.
The small town feel, community, everyone knows everybody. I grew up in a small town, so when I moved to Lexington, I was a little overwhelmed. And then I started teaching in Gilbert, and I was like, oh, these are my people. These are the small town people that I love to be around. I just love it. My husband and I plan to move out this way soon.
So next time you're passing through this area, stay a little longer. You may find it has more to offer than you would expect. On the road in Gilbert, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.
There's no place like Greenwood, South Carolina, where you can love it like a local. We're a small town, but with a lot to do. People are friendly, the hospitality.
Originally from Greenwood and having lived in the town for many years, Ellisor Holder has seen a lot happen in the city of around 23,000 residents.
This place has really changed over the years. We have had more restaurants, we've grown, we have industries, and as you can see, more and more people are coming to Uptown Greenwood. We're just an hour from Greenville, we're just over an hour from Columbia, easy to get to.
And locals say this might be one of the best times to visit Greenwood with the South Carolina Festival of Flowers in town.
It's a month-long activities with the topiaries out, but this is the main weekend kicking off the craft show or kickoff concert, Kid Fest, the Wine Walk, Flag Day, you name it, we're here this weekend ready to have some action.
The festival began in 1968 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Park Seed Company. In recent years, the signature of the event has become the topiaries put up around town by the city's horticulture department.
And so we started with 8, and then we have now 55 topiaries uptown. And we honor some of our schools. We have a Clemson Tiger, we have a USC Gamecock, we have a Citadel Bulldog, we have a Jeep, we have all kinds of different topiaries.
Finding all 55 topiaries can prove quite a challenge, but the search will take you all over Greenwood's charming downtown.
We see about a $3.4 million economic impact through the Festival of Flowers. So that kind of jump starts into our Festival Discovery kickoff. We're sister festivals. So really we see cash registers ringing. That's our goal always in doing these events, is to bring visitors and residents to support our local businesses.
One of my personal favorite places in Greenwood is Maxwell Axe Company in downtown and next to Good Times Brewing.
We also have a number of other things. We're home to one of the only 3 remaining drive-in theaters in South Carolina. We're also home to a Railroad Historical Museum, as well as the Benjamin Mays Museum. Benjamin Mays was mentor to Martin Luther King and former president of Morehouse College. So we have a lot of history here in Greenwood and a lot to see.
And when you get tired from shopping, axe throwing, or hanging out at the festival, try a shaved snow dessert from Greenwood's own Vampire Penguin. On the road in Greenwood, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.
Just a lot of family things to do in Aiken. Just a small, loving, small town.
About an hour south of Columbia and 20 minutes north of Augusta, Aiken has quite a long history. Aiken County used to be part of 4 different counties.
Longest railroad in the world was built between Charleston and North Augusta, and it came through here.
Aiken was the site of one of the final battles of the Civil War, and unlike some in the area, the town was not burned.
They decided to build a hotel here in 1869, which was right after the war. A couple of guys from Connecticut came down and built the hotel. Aiken at that time was known as a health resort. We had some doctors here with clinics that specialized in tuberculosis, which was a terrible disease at that time.
In the late 19th century, Aiken became popular with wealthy and famous people from up north.
It's not just a backwater southern town. It's a town that's always had people from all over the world living here.
And they found that Aiken was actually a wonderful place to bring their horses during the winter. So this area became known as the Winter Colony.
As time went by, they ended up building over 100 homes in the Aiken area. We don't have 100 now. Several burned down, several were torn down. They just weren't taken care of. But we do have a lot of homes still left.
One of those homes belonged to Hope Goddard Island.
Before she passed away, she said, please don't try to maintain my home, be too expensive, but please do something with my gardens, which the city of Aiken has done. And so it became known as Hopeland's Gardens. And she said, do something with my carriage house and stables. So that's how the museum came about.
Over the years, Aiken's population has continued to grow, and so has the town.
We're very lucky to have a town where you have a lot of boutiques downtown, a lot of restaurants. We've always had that, and the people have always supported that.
Downtown Aiken is not only home to historic buildings, but also some great new local businesses.
They have unique shops, they got great restaurants.
Lovely town. I'm from the Walterboro area, but we love this area, and we've lived here 17 years. We don't plan to move.
On the road in Aiken, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.
We still have a lot of the good amenities that cities have, but it's still a very warm and friendly environment, like we call it front porch of the LowCountry. So you can sit and rock on your front porch, and everybody knows everybody. And then Main Street is just amazing. We've got an old-time soda fountain and places to go and see. So it's just a nice place to visit.
Walterboro is home to a little more than 5,000 residents, a lovely downtown, a unique water tower, a historical museum, and that's just the beginning.
And then we have the Wildlife Center, which we're standing in, which has a wildlife refuge attached to it that is one of the largest in South Carolina.
I'm not the kind of person that usually calls places must visit, but I highly suggest you do check out the Walterboro Wildlife Sanctuary.
We have some gators in there. We have a number of snakes in there. We have all sorts of birds in there. So it's just a lot of things to see, and it's a cool experience.
Another cool experience can be had downtown at the Artist Hub of the Ace Basin, known as AHABs.
We can offer painting classes or jewelry making or ceramics or just about anything. We've had wood burning, we've leather burning, anything that any of the artists are interested in making themselves, they can usually teach a class too.
AHABs is a nonprofit artisan mall with work for more than 80 artists, but also serves as an event space and coffee shop.
But I think it's just a special place because of all the artists that can come together and get to collaborate with them and see what they have to offer and learn from them. So we're learning from each other.
I was also able to try my first boba tea, which is really delicious. I could stay here all day, but we have a celebration in Hampton County to get to.
We love watermelon! We're kicking off our big weekend with our street dance. And right now we have the pre-show entertainment, which is Dunamis Karate and the Studio Z Dance Company. And all day today, Stephanie, who is our chairman of the vendor market, has been busy at the courthouse with how many vendors, Steph?
77.
What kind of vendors are there here?
There's all kinds, boutiques, candles, toys, all kinds of exciting things.
Hampton County's most colorful crop is celebrated at the 81st annual event, but it's more than just about the fruit.
And people have their family reunions during this week, and I actually told somebody else that it's like the second biggest celebration to Christmas. Love you, Hampton County!
It's been a lot of fun exploring the area, and if you want to see part 2 of my LowCountry adventures, tune in to next week's On the Road. For now, I'm taking my watermelon to go. On the road in the LowCountry, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.
I have always said that Beaufort is a little microcosm of Charleston.
Nan Sutton, owner of the store Lulu Burgess, is a proud Beaufort native.
There are not many cities on the East Coast that have a downtown with a waterfront park right next to it on the intercoastal waterway. Okay, so I think that is one of the biggest draws of Beaufort, besides our history, of course.
And if you want to learn about the area's history, just stop by the nearby Reconstruction-era National Park.
One of our community's key figures here of Reconstruction is Robert Smalls, who was born here in Beaufort, South Carolina, and went on to achieve Civil War fame, capturing a Confederate ship and liberating himself and his family. Then he came back to Beaufort, bought his enslaver's mansion, and went on to serve in Congress in the 1870s as a black man in the United States. And so that's part of our park story here, is talking about this transition from slavery to freedom.
Another key figure during this time period was Harriet Tubman. She worked as a nurse in the area and also helped the Union forces.
The 2nd South Carolina Volunteers, along with Harriet Tubman, sailed boats from here at Beaufort, went up the Combahee River, and ended up liberating about 750 people and bringing them back to Beaufort. She then gave a speech at a church nearby here, probably Tabernacle Baptist Church, on Craven Street and gave a speech, and ultimately a couple hundred of those men ended up joining the Army.
Remnants of the city's history can be seen not only at the park sites, but also all over Beaufort.
There's so many different layers, and so even just walking through that is really cool. And the weather's usually pretty nice here as well. I can't beat that.
As you can probably tell, Beaufort gets quite humid, so be sure to cool off at Southern Sweets Ice Cream Parlor. It's located on Bay Street, along with many other unique shops.
Antiques, gifts, clothing, art, of course our restaurants. There's a great mix, toy stores, jewelry stores, women's clothing, gift shops. So it's and the antique shops, and so it's a great mix now.
Sutton says she moved up north for a few years, but is happy she returned to her hometown.
It's just a wonderful place to live. You're surrounded by water and islands, and it's just beautiful.
On the road in Beaufort, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.
My family moved to this area around 1860.
As Landrum, South Carolina as it gets, Bob Briggs has been the mayor of the city of around 2,500 residents for more than 25 years.
Where they exit 1 off 26, where the gateway to the mountains here behind us. You can't see them today because of the clouds, but gateway to lots of trails in the area. So it's just a gateway town.
In addition to unique shops, downtown Landrum is also home to many restaurants, which are popular not only with tourists, but also the locals.
Hare and the Hound. Now, I like that restaurant. It's got good food, got great people. We got different type of restaurants. We got a Thai restaurant, which is very good food.
Always enjoyed working with the business owners and the people, the citizens in general, and it's just a great place to be.
Crossing the county line from Spartanburg into Greenville County, you'll pass by South Carolina's only remaining covered bridge, Campbell's Covered Bridge. And Greenville County has a charming small town very similar to Landrum.
Everybody wants to come to Travelers Rest or Greenville, this area, so it's pretty cool. 10 years ago, absolutely, desolate. You couldn't even couldn't get rid of a building if you owned one here, and now you can't find one.
Downtown Travelers Rest is now full of businesses, including Charlie's Rustic Antiques. The owner, Matt Stovall, is keeping the past alive through his shop.
My grandfather, he had a Charlie's Sinclair service station on White Horse Road, and I've always been fascinated with antiques and all the different things that Sinclair stood for, the dinosaur and all about it. So I guess it gave me a connection with my grandfather, and just one thing led to another.
One of my favorite parts in the entire Upstate is the Swamp Rabbit Bike Trail. The more than 20-mile path connects Greenville to Travelers Rest, and locals say it's made the town much more popular.
It's constantly being traveled with walkers and bicyclists and everything, so it just makes it a cool small town destination for anybody that's coming from Greenville and wanting to see what's in the surrounding areas. So it's pretty cool. Everybody's coming to this area. It's wild.
And be sure to tune in every Friday at 11 for the rest of the summer as we explore more of the Palmetto State. Next week, we take you to South Carolina's Peach Capital. For now, on the road in the Upstate, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. Going on the road every week, I often pass by the Peachoid, Gaffney's water tower. This weekend in Cherokee County, the 49th annual Peach Festival comes to town.
Oh, just a fun-filled weekend for the whole family. We've got the carnival rides are already setting up tonight, and the arts and crafts. Everything starts at 5 p.m. tonight.
Friday, the fun kicked off. Saturday, it continues.
So the parade is at 10 a.m. in the morning, and this year Travis Tritt's daughter, Tyler Reese Tritt, will be our Grand Marshal. They're going to have a car cruise in. We're going to have the wrestling out here. That's always a fan favorite.
There's a lot of fun things to do in Gaffney all weekend, but the highlight is the peaches, of course. The peaches taste just as good as usual, even though it's been a difficult year for growers.
And they said, unfortunately, 90% of the peach industry, they lost it this year because of the early freeze. Yes, but she said because of the high heat and humidity since, it has done really well, and she says that they are the sweetest peaches they've ever had.
But there is more than just fruit in the Cherokee County town of 12,000 residents.
And it's just growing. It's really exciting. There's a lot of the younger people that are, starting new businesses downtown. So that's really exciting.
One of those new businesses downtown opened last spring, Peach City Brewery.
We wanted to open a brewery in a smaller town, kind of bring something new to the area. And they were doing a rejuvenation project in Gaffney, trying to bring more businesses to downtown. So we thought it was a perfect time to get in.
Peach City Brewery has helped transform Gaffney along with other new businesses downtown.
We've all created this really nice community where we'll send people back and forth with each other, and we do live music and do free shows and that kind of thing. So the bringing more food, more nightlife activity to downtown has brought some more life back into it, which is really nice.
Bivens co-owns the brewery with Aaron Burton. Peach City serves craft beer and pizza, and for those who might not like beer, seltzers.
They've got a lot more body to them, more flavor, not like what you would find at the grocery store. And that's a big attraction for like the Limestone students and the local colleges.
Peach City might not be at the festival, but will be open all weekend down the street from the festivities.
I will be behind this bar all weekend, but I am very excited for Peach Festival and all the activities that are coming with it. We've got the parade at 10 a.m. in the morning, and it should be a really fun weekend.
And the fun continues next weekend with a race at the Cherokee Speedway and a pageant at Limestone University.
The pageant will be at 2 p.m. next weekend at Limestone University, so come out and see all the beautiful little girls.
So if you can't make it this weekend, be sure to come out next weekend for more Peach Festival fun. On the road in Gaffney, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. For the last 2 weeks, I've been in the Upstate, checking out the small towns as well as the South Carolina Peach Festival. This week, I'm exploring the outdoors, specifically Pickens County.
The Haygood Mill really offers an opportunity. So one of the first things I did, I came here, I started volunteering, and I've met nothing but the most amazing people in the area.
One of those amazing people is Mr. Dave, who gave me a tour around the Haygood Mill site.
It's a historic site, so they walk around. The mill is, whether it's running or not, is very interesting. It's been there for almost 250 years. It's the last operating water-run mill in the state of South Carolina, so we still grind corn.
In addition to corn, there are many things being made in different areas on the site.
Like for instance, right now there's a blacksmithing class going on, so they can watch those classes, or if there's not a class, they can look in at the forge and see what's going on. There's an old moonshine still and a little cabin up there where they can see how that used to be done.
Groundwater is not very deep.
Another popular attraction at Haygood Mill is the petroglyphs, Native American rock carvings that have been preserved.
And it gives a demonstration where the lights shine up at a certain angle and you can really decipher the petroglyphs. Because at first you say there's nothing on there, and then by the end of the program you realize that that rock has all sorts of different drawings and carvings on it.
There are also old cabins and more, and that's just on one side.
And on the other side we have the pavilion. There's a campground over there. There's now an 18-hole disc golf course. There's a garden that has medicinal herbs. There's actually a walking path, a labyrinth that I built, so that's kind of fun. I always try to direct people to that. Or if all that seems too much, there's some picnic tables where you can just go and sit by the river and just reflect and just listen to the water go by. And that might be the most popular thing to do.
We've been working on making a canoe.
One part of the site cannot be filmed due to it being sacred Cherokee ground. Those who work and volunteer at Haygood Mill know the importance of keeping the area's thousands of years of history alive.
We're not just volunteering at this site at this time, but we're the stewards of this property during this generation.
After that wonderful tour from Mr. Dave, I spent the remainder of the afternoon out at Table Rock State Park, taking in some of the many breathtaking views in this area. As for the rest of the Upstate, there'll be plenty of time to explore in future episodes. For now, on the road in Pickens County, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. For one more episode, On the Road is exploring the Upstate. This week, we're going to the first place I ever visited in South Carolina, Walhalla in Oconee County.
The great thing about coming into this area, especially when you come into Walhalla, which is we consider the gateway to the Upstate, is you go into the mountains and you're going to find your hiking, your biking, your camping.
But before you explore the outdoors, check out the downtown for the city of around 4,000 residents.
And it's growing daily. We have different shops throughout that have clothing. We have coffee shops, restaurants, and Walhalla Performing Arts Center is an amazing facility that we get many different artists. We have wine bars, we have tap rooms, we have many great restaurants. So there's always something to go and do and see.
While the downtown may look different from when I was here as a child, Issaquah Falls still looks the same. And that's not the only waterfall in the area.
One of my favorite falls, Yellow Branch, is across the street, and that's about a 1.5 mile walk to one of the prettiest waterfalls in Oconee County.
In addition to waterfalls, the area is also popular for biking.
People come and they cycle on our roads, but we also have an amazing mountain bike park called Stump House Tunnel, and it's actually the #1 Googled for Oconee County.
Stump House Mountain Tunnel is a public park located around an incomplete railroad tunnel from the 19th century.
They started it before the Civil War, and then it was shut down, and now Clemson actually used to use it to store their blue cheese. And now it's an attraction where people can go and you can walk halfway through the tunnel. It stays about a cool 55 degrees all year long, so it's a great place to be this summer.
Another great place to be during the summer is out on the lake. Oconee County offers access to 3 different lakes: Jocassee, Kiawah, and Hartwell.
If you look at a map of Oconee County, we're almost an island. There's a little bit of land between us and North Carolina, and then we are split between Anderson County. Jocassee flows into Lake Kiawah, and then Lake Kiawah flows into Lake Hartwell.
If you're looking for a fun time out at the lake, High Falls County Park is not a bad option. Next week, we come back a little closer to home to Little Mountain. For now, on the road in Walhalla, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. After spending the last 4 weeks in the Upstate, we're back in the Midlands this Friday, just in time for the Little Mountain Town reunion.
It is one of South Carolina's oldest folk festivals. Tonight we have the Noel Lindler Band, which will begin playing in about half an hour.
First celebrated in 1882, the Little Mountain Town reunion continues to bring out newcomers.
This is good. So tonight is for the food. So we figure we'll scout it out, see what's available, and then find something good to eat.
Yep.
So we started with dessert, though, so we did a little different tonight.
Residents in the area also enjoyed live music and local vendors. The Shockwave baseball team was also present, selling raffle tickets to try to raise money for an out-of-state tournament.
We got a lot of good young men. We're trying to raise them right and teach them how to raise money without taking money out of their parents' pockets every day.
We just get to like sell raffle tickets, and it's really fun to just like run around and ask people.
The kids also got to have a little fun as well.
Yeah, we got food, games. Food's really good. Yeah, I like the food.
A lot of familiar faces greeted each other at the town reunion.
And it is a wonderful mix because we have people who are bringing us new ideas, and yet they are just so happy to meet people who have traditional ideas like making sauerkraut and living on the land and having an ancient house. So it's wonderful to live here right now.
Little Mountain is home to less than 300 residents.
We are a classic village. We are trying our best to stay that way. If you live in Little Mountain, you can walk to the elementary school, you can walk to 3 churches.
Also within walking distance is Little Mountain Unlimited, an antique mall that draws visitors from out of state.
It is so well known, has a wonderful place to find collectibles and antiques that are rare and unusual. And it's huge. You can spend all day in there, and also they have a wonderful cafe in the basement. You can get lunch.
This Saturday might be the best day to make a day trip out to Little Mountain with a fun run and parade downtown in the morning, as well as barbecue sandwiches for lunch at Reunion Park.
After that, we have cornhole tournaments starting at 2, and then tomorrow night we'll have cash money experience, and they are an experience.
And if none of that excites you, you should still come out to the town reunion to check out Doc's hats and some other of the cool vendors. I know I just found my hat for next year's Carolina Cup. On the road in Little Mountain, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News. For this year's Final on the Road, we're going to South Carolina's southernmost inhabited island, Daufuskie. It's only accessible via boat, so we're taking the ferry.
My husband and I actually met here in 1994. Wow. We both happened to be living on Hilton Head and worked over here on the island, and I met him coming off the ferry one day.
Crosby runs a soap store on the island, and her husband is a pastor. Since there is no middle or high school on the island, her children rode the ferry and shuttle for many years to get to class.
Because they grew up here, they knew that was going to be their future, what they would be doing for high school, and so it's just what it was. They adjusted well.
She says her family loves living on the island, which has a number of historic sites, tons of outdoor recreation, and unique shops.
You can also go to Bloody Point Lighthouse, the Ironfish Art Gallery, which is Metal Sculptors Gallery. So there are a lot of different unique stops you can make along the way while you're here, besides going to the beach, of course.
Since the island is several miles long and we traveled here by ferry, we're going to use Daufuskie Island's most popular form of transportation, golf cart.
Certainly love the peace and quiet, love the community. It is a very sweet community. There are about 500 residents total on the island, and you really get the opportunity to know people.
People are all friendly. We get around mostly on golf carts, so it's a nice casual lifestyle. And you've got everything from nice riverfront properties to beachfront properties to everything in between.
Owner of the island's distillery, Tony Chase, has also been living and working on Daufuskie for more than a decade. His company originally only made rum.
What we found out pretty quickly is rum is pretty far down the pecking order on the food chain of alcohol, and vodka is pretty far up the list. So because rum is made with sugarcane, we decided to make a vodka from sugarcane.
Whether you're here to enjoy an alcoholic beverage or just more views of the island, the distillery is a must-stop on your Daufuskie trip.
Our fun part is also the fact that we experiment a lot with different flavorings and different processes. If we don't like something, we're not going to put it on the shelf. We've had a couple things that we just didn't like the way it came out. We wanted to do a peach rum, and that just didn't work out, but our vanilla rum is fantastic. Our Kona rum, which is a coffee rum, is great.
Now all that there's left to do is dry off from an afternoon shower and wait for the evening ferry. Thank you for joining us another summer as we explored South Carolina's hidden gems. For now, on the road in Daufuskie Island, Alex Tejada, ABC Columbia News.